This is Todd Bishop, managing editor at TechFlash.com. I've covered Microsoft in the technology industry now for about 6 years, and every time Microsoft is getting ready to report its quarterly or annual results, I like to go back and refresh my memory and get ready to report on them. And as I was doing that this morning, in advance of Microsoft's July 23rd annual and quarterly reports, I noticed that the company had overhauled its investor relations website. This is using the Silverlight interactive technology that Microsoft offers. And as I was doing that, I realized it's also a pretty good way of seeing exactly what kinds of challenges the company is facing. Uh, Ironically, Silverlight here is showing just how rough things are for Microsoft right now. As you can see in the third quarter of fiscal '09, this was the quarter ended March 31st, the only Microsoft division to see an increase in revenue was its server and tools division, which makes Windows Server and SQL Server programs like that. The company's client division saw a 16% decrease in revenue in the third quarter. This was largely due to businesses and consumers pulling back their spending on PCs. Microsoft relies heavily on sales of Windows pre-installed on PCs to drive revenue in the client division. Also, taking a bit of a hit here is the Entertainment and Devices division, revenue down 2%. Microsoft Business division down 5% in the third quarter. This is the division that makes Office and related products. Also, you can see the online services business where Microsoft is struggling as well, down 14%. So that's what happened in the last quarter. And what you can see here is in revenue, the company also struggling. This is overall revenue. The company had 14.5 billion in revenue in the third quarter of '08. And what happened in the third quarter of '09 was, for the first time in Microsoft's corporate history, it had a decline in quarterly revenue year over year. And that's what you can see there. So here's what Microsoft is up against in terms of that comparable in the upcoming quarter, the fourth quarter of '09. And analysts are expecting this to decline as well. Analysts surveyed by Thomson Reuters expect this number to be 14.4 billion in the quarter ended June 30th. And so that's something that we'll be watching closely to see whether Microsoft can meet or beat that expectation. Another interesting metric to look at is the company's operating income. And what you can see here is that Microsoft's operating income actually was up in the third quarter of '09, and that's interesting because the revenue was down. So what that shows is that Microsoft has been cutting, as people who follow the company know. Microsoft had some substantial layoffs earlier this year for the first time in its history. It also has been making strategic cutbacks in various products and actually terminating some products, things like Encarta and Microsoft Money and other things along those lines. So essentially it's been able to save money there, and in this last quarter you can see where that resulted in an increase in operating income even though revenue was down. So that's something we'll be watching pretty closely in the upcoming quarter. So check back on Thursday afternoon, July 23rd on TechFlash.com for the actual results, and looking forward to reporting those for you then. This is Todd Bishop with TechFlash.com.